Ben?
Marshall?
I have... hold on, wait.
What is happening?
Okay. I'm waiting.
Don't tell him. Don't tell him my secret.
What?
That's my
Ben,
secret.
close your eyes.
Okay.
Close your eyes. This will be really good audio.
Okay, is this going to hurt my ears? Please don't hurt me. My eyes are closed. Please don't hurt
Open
me.
them.
Oh! Oh
Batman.
my gosh. It's Batman. Where'd Marshall go?
He's gone. I shot him with my gun.
Of what was it? What comes out of the gun?
Pain.
And injustice.
And kryptonite. Injustices. Bullets.
You don't kill people, Batman.
In these movies, I kill people a lot.
Okay, well, you are going against a core belief of the comic.
I don't... What's a comic book?
You don't... I don't know. So yeah, that was the summary of...
It's me,
of
Bruce
Batman. It's you, it's Marshall again. Hello, Marshall.
Ben, I'm here to assemble a team. I believe there are enemies coming from so far away.
It's crazy how you suddenly care about all of humanity.
Yeah, what do you mean? That wasn't a strange heel turn at all. I went from the way I was to the same way exactly. There's enemies coming from far away, and we have to get a team together. I have one recruit. I have one recruit already.
Yeah.
Do you want to meet him?
Yep. Show me the show. Oh, yeah. Show me.
He was here last week, and he's going to be.
It's me, the Flash. Are you connecting this all to the new cover art we have this week?
Oh, I could.
Okay. There's the new recruit to the team.
Yes, it's you.
Flash.
It's
me.
you, the Flash.
I'm fast and young and juvenile. Ooh.
And so funny.
Look at me.
And obsessed with that
me.
hot dog.
You're not in here yet. You're dead.
Yeah.
He doesn't. Oh my gosh.
I think we need. We're not powerful enough on our own, Batman. We need someone new.
We need someone else. Hold on. Wait. Connor died after the episode we did last week, but I have a box, and if I run fast enough and touch the box, I can bring him back to life. I'm also the Flash, just like you are. Hold on. I'm gonna bring Connor back to life.
Okay, do it. Whoa! Look at how fast he's running. It's crazy. Pew! Marshall does cardio. Here he comes. There's the box that he's using. He's handed him a printer box, Epson printer box. He's running. Here he comes, high speed. And he punched him.
Ow! Hello!
Hey, Connor, you're alive and you're on the show. Who am I? Welcome. You're Super Connor.
Kal-El!
Kal-El. Super Connell.
Oh, yeah, that's who I am.
Connor.
I was going to fight you for a second.
Don't fight me. Do you bleed?
The Christmas episode of Ben and Marshall Do Podcast with Connor.
Yep, we're doing another Christmas episode. Again, really fast.
Here we go.
Thank goodness.
Just kidding. It's the Snyder Cut. It's Snyder Mayhem. It's
finally
Snyder.
here. It's finally here, Marshall. The episode we've been talking about forever and ever.
How exciting.
Never. Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Back when we did news, we talked about this almost every week.
Yeah.
Now we don't do news, and we're still talking about it.
And hopefully everybody at home, after the last episode, went and watched Man of Steel and Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
And then hopefully seen the Snyder Cut. Or maybe they're here listening because they're curious what we think, and they're going to watch it later at some other time.
No one asked me for my HBO login,
So
we'll see. I don't know. I willingly gave it to a few people. Let's see if they took the responsibility.
Somewhere. Anyway, Connor, you're back. How's it? Hey, Connor, how you been?
You know, I've been pretty good. I was dead for the last week and a half, but it's nice to be back. Just got punched with a box.
I had to touch that box really fast. Mm-hmm. I have so many thoughts on this movie.
Do we have anything to say before we kick off the movie talk? Now that we're a couple minutes in.
I don't know. Welcome to the show. My name. I'm Marshall, and I'm the host of Ben and Marshall Do a Podcast, the official podcast of the Great Scub Do, the YouTube channel we never touch. And excuse me. And as with me as always is my co-host Ben Herbal.
Hey, it's me as always.
What a cutie. And we, of course, have Connor here, brought back to life by the Mother Boxes and myself.
That's me.
That's him. Comic book man, as he was introduced as last week. Are you still a comic book man?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
Are you sure?
Cool.
No.
Okay. Good.
What am I sure about these days? I don't know.
Who knows? In these strange, uncertain times.
Someone will just re-release what I said here, and then we'll have 4 more hours of me talking.
It'll be the Connor cut.
Yeah.
The brand cut.
Brand cut.
Yeah.
Brand cut steaks.
Brand cut steaks. Brand deal. Brand deal.
So guys,
with Zack Snyder.
This movie.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen the original Justice League, the 2017 Justice League. So that was the experience coming into it. Is you had both seen it, I had not.
Yep.
So I know no better than the Snyder cut.
Yeah. Or rather, worse.
I don't know how to. Do we start with differences? Do we talk about differences later?
I think we get into differences
as its own thing.
I think we can get into differences later. I mean, specifically because you haven't seen the other one.
How about this? How about tell me where you thought there were flaws in the 2017 Snyder-Whedon version. Tell me after you watched that one, how did you feel without Snyder Cut? Even go back to 2017, walking out of the theater. What were your feelings at that point about the movie?
Did I see this in theaters? I think I saw.
I
think I saw it in theaters. I'm pretty sure. I don't really have any impression of what I thought walking out of the movie, which pretty much says it all, I would say. Like, it just isn't anything. Like, it's bad, it's not good, and I don't like it. And there's, I think all of the good stuff in that movie, weirdly, came from this version of the movie. It was all the stuff that Snyder did. And it's very apparent now. I mean, it was obvious then what was reshoots and what wasn't. But looking back on it, having seen
what do you mean by
Zack
that?
Snyder's Justice League, what do you mean by what?
That it was obvious that there were reshoots.
Oh, there was just like hair was different, clothes were slightly wrong, all kind of like muscles weren't as pronounced and stuff like that. Like it was very, very obvious that like so much of the movie was reshot because Snyder left the movie in post-production. They'd already shot everything.
Right.
So it's wild that they didn't just cut it together with what they had. They went back and Whedonified it, which was a grand mistake because the reviews started coming out for the Snyder Cut, and they were pretty positive, which made me extremely concerned because I don't trust it. And I just didn't get my hopes up. I didn't have any reservations. I expected it to be mildly better than the 2017 one. Mm-hmm. And while I'll say I'm certainly not blown away, like half the, comic book people on the internet that are just gushing over this thing, it was pretty good.
They definitely cut the best scenes.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Like, we'll get to some of the scenes that just kind of made me stop and think.
Yeah.
Wow, this could have been great.
Yeah.
Connor, what was your experience after watching Whedon version?
So after watching the Whedon version, throwing back to 2017, if I had to compare it to a type of food, it would be Raising Cane's French fries, but after they've been in the fridge for like a few days, you're never going to get what it was intended to be fully back. But lo and behold, we got what it was intended to be fully back.
Yeah.
It's uncanny. But it was like a limp potato in my mouth.
It's not the first time you described things as that.
Yeah, and I hate walking out of the theater with a limp potato in my mouth.
Dude, it's the worst feeling.
Yeah.
My least favorite.
Yep.
Ben, what were your impressions walking out of the theater in 2017?
Well, when I walked out of the theater in 2017,
the Hastings Theater.
I had just watched the Hastings IMAX Theater. I had just watched. I'm trying to think of a horrible movie from 2017.
Justice League.
Yep, that's the one. Yeah. So I didn't know what.
That's my favorite one.
I didn't know what to expect. Here, let me Google's worst movie of 2017. What won
Paddington 2?
What?
I'm just kidding. I've never seen Paddington. I'm
Paddington
sorry.
is great.
It was just the first movie that came to my mind.
You disgust me. What even came out in 2017?
Worst movie 2017, according to Critics Business Insider, was Don't Hang Up, Bye Bye Man. 50 Shades Darker. I just watched 50 Shades Darker. The Emoji Movie. I just watched the Emoji Movie. Yep.
It was probably better than Justice League, honestly.
So, no, there's no way. So, anyway, it was the Emoji Movie. That's horrible. Ugh. So, I hadn't seen it. I hadn't seen Batman versus Superman. I didn't know they were connected. So after our experience watching, at the time, I didn't know anything about Batman versus Superman, and then I didn't know anything about Justice League. I just didn't watch them. I had bad reviews.
For those listening that can't see anything, me and Connor both just gave Ben a very confused when he said he didn't know they were connected. Yeah, it was we did a Tim the Tool Man, and it was very, very visible. We did the exact same thing at the exact same time.
You could maybe hear me doubling back on my words to explain myself because I felt the judgment.
Yeah.
So
as long as you felt it.
It was kind of fun. I think after watching those last movies back to back and getting in the mood for this one, I was pretty pumped when the movie started. I was like, oh hey, here we go again. I think I was kind of excited. So anywho, I'll stop talking now. You want to start talking about the movie? Speaking of which, so now we finally see the middle piece of Snyder's 5-movie set.
Yeah.
The next 2 movies probably won't come. Potentially, probably not. We'll see. Who knows? I don't know. Is there any scuttlebutt on whether or not they'll happen?
You kind of sound like a robot right now, and you're frozen on a really funny face.
Oh, hello.
You look like you just tasted chocolate ice cream for the first time.
But if I heard you right, did you ask about like the status of the rest of the Snyder saga?
What I was saying was that we have now seen movie 1, movie 2, movie 3 of the 5-movie, not a Septuagint. I don't know what the right word would be. So where was I going with that? Oh, I guess it was kind of fun. I was saying that it was fun to see a continuation of the storyline and have it be better than the other 2. I don't know. I'll leave it there. Now we can start analyzing the movie.
Yeah, so we know that at this point, people have moved from going crazy about release the Snyder Cut, and it's now restore the Snyderverse. People are like freaking out about like, bring back the rest of his artistic vision. He's an artistic genius. It's like, well,
a lot of grandmas are supporting it.
Yeah. It's, oh my gosh. I think it's ridiculous. People are like, I saw a post, someone was like, I'm not going to go see The Batman. I'm not going to see Shazam 2. I'm not going to see this like X movie, this movie, this movie, this movie, anything that's on DC's slate. Like anytime those movies come out, I'm just going to watch the Snyder Cut again.
Lies.
It's like, you're a freaking idiot. Like he did it. It's done. And he said that it ended on a cliffhanger, but it really doesn't. It's pretty much resolved. There's hints of like what could have been, but it's not like this is The Empire Strikes Back and Han Solo's in carbonite and we don't know what's going to happen. Like this movie has a definitive, clear ending where the heroes win. Like this is
the second time.
The second time. It's just, I don't know. I think that I am totally on Warner Brothers' side of not continuing the Snyderverse and just moving on to other more interesting projects, because I really don't care about the rest of Zack Snyder's artistic vision.
I saw an interesting quote by Snyder himself, who was saying that originally when he was going to make the theater cut of the movie, that Warner Brothers was pushing really hard for him to wrap up all the loose ends. And even at that point, he was like, I don't want to wrap up the loose ends because that's not how comic books work. That like even if the comic book doesn't get continued, like you leave it on a cliffhanger because in that universe the story goes on. So it was kind of an interesting take from him saying like whether or not we make these next movies, like the whole point of a comic book is that it like there's still action in the future. You imagine the action, whether or not it gets resolved within me writing the story as author of the comic book or author of movie script, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that makes sense. And I think the movie definitely ends that way, where it's like all the characters get their little endings and all these things could happen. And guess what? I don't care about any of them. I don't want to see any of it. I want to move on. So take that, Zack Snyder. I'm going to watch your Flash movie, Andy Muschietti. And you know why? For the sole reason that Michael Keaton will be playing Batman in it. That's all. That's
Is
the
that
only
a real
reason.
thing? Oh, that's fun.
Yes, that's a real thing. I forget about it, and every time I remember it, it blows my mind that Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck are going to be playing Batman in this movie alongside Ezra Miller as the Flash. Who I will say, I think that Ezra Miller is still the worst part of this movie.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. What do you think, Ben?
No. The worst part of this movie is that it is 4 hours long. And here's the reason it's 4 hours long. No. Sorry. I don't care about the 4 hours long thing. I care about why it's 4 hours long. And it's 4 hours long because every superhero gets a 5-minute slow-mo scene to a weird song from the 1980s that no one knows.
It was a
Every
weird
single
French
time.
film for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many
every
weird...
one of them gets a slow-mo scene.
Zack Snyder's, I think his thing is slow motion scenes to songs that don't fit the mood in any way.
Not at all.
Have you seen Watchmen?
It was so weird. No, I haven't. Does something happen?
Yeah, in probably the worst possible sense. I think the worst offender for this is Watchmen, in which over a sex scene, which is very weirdly placed and makes sense in the comic books, but just really works
Like they're
very
doing it
poorly.
in a weird spot, like in the middle of a park or the beach.
It is a weird spot.
Poorly placed.
It's in a giant floating owl.
It's in a giant floating owl ship. But the context of it makes sense in the comic books. The context of it is ridiculous.
Well, we don't
movie.
need to go into that.
Yes. And
That's what he said.
but then over the top of this, we get Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Which then Snyder reused in the first trailer for the Snyder Cut.
Romance.
So now, like, I can't hear this song that I didn't like very much in the first place. I can't hear it without thinking of that scene. So then when he paired it with the first trailer for the Snyder Cut, all the comments are like, why are you doing this? What is this strange, so stupid decision you've made? And he actually came out and was like, this song is really special to me and my family. It's like, well, I don't care. Choose something that fits the movie or the themes of the film that you're making. You're dumb. It's ridiculous. This is what... Okay, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I can rag on Zack Snyder for the rest of my life. I thought this movie was pretty damn good. It was too long, but it was pretty good.
I thought
Connor,
the pacing was...
go.
ahead, Connor. Yeah, go, Connor. Go.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think the movie was pretty dang good. There's my Christian notes coming out. I won't say that word. But...
Whatever.
Whatever. So, I did enjoy the movie for what it was. There were a lot of things that were wrong in my mind in the Whedon version that they definitely took out for the Snyderverse or never actually put in. Like brunch. I was waiting for that one, and I was going to quit if The Flash started talking about
We
brunch.
did not have any
is this?
talk about brunch. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Was he trying to be a funny boy?
Watch the other one. But,
Okay.
well, don't watch the other one. Watch this one. All in all, I think it was great. Too many slow-mo shots. I did appreciate Cyborg's backstory so much more.
Yeah.
He was a developed character.
Wow.
They explained his powers.
Wow.
They even had a scene with him helping out a single mom who was facing eviction and all that.
He made the money bigger.
Yeah. The money went... And then he put the burnt stuff on top still.
Yeah.
So he didn't steal from her. He just, added more money.
Yeah.
So there was no backstory at all to the cyborg before? He just kind of showed up out of nowhere?
More or less, yeah. There was nothing of like, I'm a great football player and I love the game and I've got a love for the game and my mom is dead. It's more just, I got a bad dad and I'm angry.
Interesting. Huh.
Yeah. And Flash was just a very, Whedon character. He's like the point of view character. He's very goofy and silly. Which there were some things in this that I was surprised that he was still pretty similar to that version of the character. Like when they get out of the plane and he sees the bat signal and he's like, oh, that's the bat signal. That means that I'll be quiet because you're Batman and no one can know. I was very surprised that was a Snyder scene. I did not expect that to be in this movie.
I also have to say that when he walked into the pet store to apply for a job and they had him talking super, super fast.
I hate it.
To kind of blend the fact that yeah, he's a speedster, so obviously he's going to be talking super fast, but the lady thinks he's an idiot, and then he has this odd moment with, I'm assuming, is Iris.
It's supposed to be Iris.
Supposed to be Iris West. Whatever version this is, whether he was raised with her or not.
Yeah.
And they have his slow-mo French rotisserie scene, I don't know what you want to call it.
Yeah.
And he's just like making eyes at her in slow motion, and she's in the middle of a car crash. And he's
so
like,
bad.
I'm in love.
Yeah.
And he grabs a hot dog.
I hated when he
for-
grabbed the hot dog.
I
was
thought that
like-
was fun. I thought the hot dog grab was fun.
It made sense after the fact, but it was so ridiculous and stupid in the
Ooh, a hot
moment.
dog.
Love a
Put it in
good
his
hot dog
pocket.
grab.
I thought it made me laugh.
I was very confused. Let's go through our categories. Let's go through our categories. What do you? Okay, so we have script, cinematography, score, performances, and visual effects where it applies. Let's start with script. What do you think of the screenplay with a dialogue? What do you think?
Started good, ended weird. I felt like the writing got worse the longer it went for whatever reason. I don't know why. It was just a feeling I had. Better than Man of Steel and better than Batman versus Superman, I think. Feel free to disagree.
I think I would agree with that. I think that this movie, even though this is the pure like Snyder version, it still feels like weirdly out of place to me with the previous two movies. Like it's more lighthearted and comic booky, which feels like a strange heel turn from even Batman versus Superman, which was very like quote unquote grounded. So I think this movie on its own works and makes sense. In the context of the previous ones, it seems really strange to me. Like if you went from Man of Steel to this, you'd be so like confused as to the tonal shift. It's a lot more gradual if you watch them in a row, I think, but it still felt weird and out of place to me.
Yeah.
But again, on its own, I think the dialogue makes a lot of sense. I think that the character building is so much better in this one. It's still not incredible, but it's pretty good for a superhero movie from Zack Snyder. I think that the world building and the character development, even for just Silas Stone, who in the original version was just a bad dad, in this one he makes like a heroic sacrifice, and he very clearly wants to reconcile his relationship with his son.
Granted, when you have 2 extra hours, you have to develop your characters.
Yeah, you better.
Because
My
you didn't film
gosh.
any more action scenes.
Well, there was some extra action. All the same action scenes were there, but there was more to them, and they were better.
Basically, the first cut was a misunderstanding of big corporations not knowing what we want
Yeah,
as comic book fans. They think we just want the colorful, lack of color action,
yeah,
and we want the meat and potatoes.
yeah.
Yeah. Meat
crazy.
and taters, precious. So the I feel like they're still like pretty not typecast characters, like typecast dialogue where the characters
Yeah.
have to say the certain thing because that's the character they are, and it
It's the
feels kind
Breakfast
of
Club.
disingenuous sometimes. Yeah, a little bit. Like you were saying, like I'm the Flash, I have to talk fast, or like I'm Gal Gadot. I mean, I'm Wonder
I'm
Woman, I have
Diana.
to-
I'm the
yeah.
hopeful one.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly,
Cyborg. I'm kind of angsty.
Yeah, right.
And I'm Aquaman. I don't even care about anything.
I'm gonna throw a glass bottle in the ocean, even though I care about the ocean. Come on.
That's a weird thing. In the Joss Whedon version, there's some like hard like
Drugs.
like this kind of like bow bow like over that scene where he's walking out, and it makes a lot more sense than like the weird new wave music that is like playing over it in this movie.
I mean, all the Icelandic songs and then the lady smelling his sweater.
What is that? What is that song? I want to know what the song is. Did you look it up?
Yes, it's an Icelandic song. It's an Icelandic folk song.
Yeah.
It's about a girl who falls in love with a young, handsome boy, but then regrets that love. And I don't know how that fits in.
What's the point?
Because I think it's tying in with like the king tide thing where he goes wherever the king tide is. and,
Brandy,
beds-
you're a
beds
fine
his
girl.
woman. Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Stupid and weird and
But my heart is
pointless.
the sea. Oh, gosh.
And like Batman's just standing there like, guess I lost that one. And behind him are all the Scandinavian women singing their little song.
He came over the mountain. That's impossible. He was on a dang horse.
He used a horse.
And then he comes back on a helicopter. He cheated.
Where did
somewhere.
the helicopter come from? And where'd the horse go?
Can we talk about that time jump? There was no, it was Superman's dead, time jump to a year. No clarification.
Where?
It was...
When all of a sudden his mom was selling... she had her house foreclosed on.
Oh, I mean, I kind of got the idea that it was, later on. I didn't,
Yeah, but there wasn't they should have just started there, I think is what Connor's saying. Instead
all I'm saying is they had Batman with a beard, and that was it. There was no cut. There was no, change. It was a little jarring for me.
I didn't notice it.
I did.
Whatever.
I just thought it was funny that her house got foreclosed on and there was no ability for her to be like, help, a GoFundMe, I'm Superman's mom.
Yeah. Well, you don't want people to know that you're Superman's mom.
Or Martian Manhunter.
Or Martian Manhunter.
Martha Manhunter.
Martha Manhunter.
Wait, what?
Did you watch the same movie as us?
Yeah.
Martha Manhunter.
Is that a thing?
Remember when Martian Manhunter, you remember when Martha goes to see Lois? And then she walks out of the apartment and her eyes glow red.
When she says, hey, there's no one else on this planet who feels the same way I do about losing Superman. And then it turns out not to be the mom.
Yeah, it's actually... And then she turns into General Swanwick and walks away.
It's like, we need you,
Lois.
Lois.
Martian Manhunter. Thank you, guys. I see now.
Yeah. Well, then in the final scene, Martian Manhunter just fully shows up. And apparently...
Right. That was a very weird scene, by the way.
There's all kinds of weird speculation, but apparently what happened is that Zack Snyder wanted to have a Green Lantern, and it was going to be Jon Stewart. The best Green Lantern. Screw Hal Jordan. He's a stupid, white bread, boring loser. Give me Jon Stewart. So he wanted to do that. The studio was like, no, we're not going to let you do that. We will let you do Martian Manhunter for some reason. So they changed it so then that scene that they shot at the end with Bruce and Manhunter was originally just kind of like two people. They hadn't even really decided that was going to be Manhunter.
Awkward, where all the lines were so open ended. It was super
weird.
Yeah,
they're weird and
Who
open.
Who are you? Yeah.
Is it why he didn't freak out that he just confirmed there's Martians now too?
An alien?
And he's just like, eh.
He's like, can I help you?
It was
like,
very
you want
weird.
breakfast?
Yeah.
This is your reaction?
I want to invite that guy in for some Cinnamon Toast Crunch or something.
Yeah, that is not Batman's reaction to an alien flying down onto your patio.
But that's his best friend now, an alien that flies down on his patio.
It also was very obviously there was no one that he was acting against. You could see that CGI Martian Manhunter was just so weird and floaty, and the facial expressions were just obviously weirdly hand animated. It was very bad.
So speaking of that supposed to being a Green Lantern, so they featured two Green Lanterns in this movie.
They do.
And that makes me want to talk about the first attempt from Darkseid to take over Earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
I enjoyed that scene.
Yeah.
But also I didn't.
Okay.
I think Earth defended itself too well. Zeus is over there with Ares fighting the good fight.
Yeah.
And it's just super jacked. Guys fighting. Darkseid does not put up a fight. He gets beat in 2 minutes.
He gets his face hit with an axe and he's like, crap, better go home.
Should have went for the head.
Yeah, which, my gosh, they really went for the head.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about this in acts, sort of. So, oh man, I just don't, it's just so long. I don't know how to go about this, man. What do we think about the return of Superman? How do you think that works?
I don't know. I don't have an opinion. I'm so sorry. Connor might have an opinion more than me.
So no, I don't understand a lot of it. I don't know why they went with Black Suit Superman. Marshall, I'm sure you know why.
There's a specific reason that he chooses that suit in the comics when he dies, but they don't really touch on it. There's a slight nod to it. So in The Death of Superman, the comic book, he's killed by Doomsday, who's just an alien that was designed to kill everything. They kind of kill each other at the last moment, just like in Batman vs. Superman. There's a grave for him, and he's like, whatever. And then his robot's taken back to the Fortress of Solitude, and he is actually alive. He's just in hibernation. Wow. So when he wakes up, he's not fully powered, but there's a fight that he needs to go fight. He needs to go stop the big, powerful
And black
monster.
suits
whatever.
just absorb more heat and sunlight.
Exactly.
Are you kidding me? I just guessed at that.
Yeah,
I could write a
that's
comic
what
book.
it is. It's the restoration suit.
Oh
so
my
because
goodness.
his powers come from the sun, he puts on this black suit that like. Not just because it's the color black, but it does like intentionally, according to the comic books, like draw in sunlight. So even though he's not fully powered, it brings that to him more.
Couldn't he just go to like a suntan city or something?
He could. Well, that's not real sunlight though. There's a slight
that to
moment
my-
in this where he flies up and kind of basks in the sun right after he puts the suit on. And I'm like,
Another
okay,
Jesus moment.
I get it. That's kind of them doing that a little bit.
Okay. Then I understand that a little bit more. They fixed the mustache.
Well, they didn't fix the mustache.
What?
It wasn't there. The mustache was only a problem. So, Ben.
You have no idea.
Ben doesn't know.
I don't know what you're saying.
Ben. So,
What?
Justice League, the movie,
Yes.
stars Henry Cavill as Superman, right?
Yes.
He is a great actor and has been in many films. Among them, Mission Impossible Fallout, in which he sports an incredible beard and mustache.
And reloads his arms when he's about to punch you.
Yes.
Like
When
shotgun.
they went to do reshoots for this movie, he was in the middle of shooting Mission Impossible Fallout.
Is this why his face looks funny in some of it, like really skinny?
In the original, yes. In this one, no. Because what they had
still
to
looks
do.
funny, though.
Whoa,
His face
you don't
looks
understand. You don't understand.
Sorry, this beautiful movie star, Ben.
What
Ugh.
they had to do, Universal would not let him shave his mustache to do these reshoots. So they had to CGI off his facial hair in the Joss Whedon version.
Wow.
And it looked crud.
It looked
horrible.
very bad. It looked very, very bad. So in this one, it's just his face, and I think he's
Did you
looking better
notice
than
how-
ever.
Is that why he like? Did you notice this? That like in the picture, like Lois has a picture of the two of them, and he looks super goofy in that. Did you notice that at all?
Well, that's because their love is fake. So
Yes. That's true.
that is the
Even
most
it-
boring love
But
story.
in this movie, he does. Okay, so I chalked it up. To
He's been dead,
for a
he's
while.
gaunt.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. He's also way more powerful than he ever has been. I think that his arrival back in the end of the movie frustrates me almost as much as it does in the original version. Because in the original version, he just pops up and is super powerful, just like in this one, and just blasts Steppenwolf away. And I think that that's kind of dumb. Like, he should still be a little bit of a match for Superman, I feel like, to make it a bit more interesting of a fight. Because he just shows up and is just like, not impressed. And then he does his his ice blowing breath and breaks the axe.
I thought that was kind of cool, though.
I think that's great. I love getting to see him use all of his cool powers. What I thought was weird and jarring is that we get this whole segment with him and Lois and Martha, and he's talking about how, like, I got a second chance, I'm not going to waste it. And then the impression that you're getting is that he's learned that, like, this is what it means to be Superman, is that I am the hopeful one. I am the one who can be this beacon of hope and of, like, all of this stuff. He is the symbol. And he's no longer going to be sad emo Superman, no longer going to be goth Superman anymore.
And so he puts on a black suit.
He puts on a black suit, but that's not what I'm saying. He gets there and immediately just, like, starts ripping Steppenwolf to shreds, like, violently. Like, he lasers off his horn. And I'm like, whoa! Like, this is not the Superman that even this universe has built up to.
I think it's more of an antler, but okay.
It's still though, like, it's weird. Like, the characterization of Superman that we've been given up to this point is a very, like, gritty, dark one. But this guy, even this guy, is not, like, lasering off the parts of this man's body. Like, it's terror. It's, like, gross. It's terrifying, and he's, like, just bashing him and punching him repeatedly without any kind of fight back. Like, there's no resistance.
Do you think maybe he learned his lesson, though? So Zod killed so many people.
Yeah.
And Steppenwolf, at this point, has already killed so many people.
Sure.
And the fate of
Has
the
he?
world. Did you see all the Amazons die?
All the
all
Amazons.
the Atlanteans he halved?
Okay.
I'm pretty sure at this point, Superman's learned his lesson that he has the power to stop it, and if he doesn't, then he's at fault.
Yeah, but is he going to brutalize this guy? Like, that was a Mortal Kombat finisher. And then Wonder Woman cuts his head off.
Well, that was just for
That's
fun.
sick.
It was crazy.
Well, that was a message to Darkseid and the people with him.
Like his death in the original was also kind of horrific because they kind of get his parademons to kill him, and they all like pile drive him and like presumably rip him apart. But the fact that they show us Superman cutting off this man's body parts and pummeling him, and
He
Wonder
basically
Woman
just trimmed his
cutting off
fingernails.
his head, I disagree. I heartily disagree.
Was there this much gore in the 2017 cut?
None.
No, this one.
None.
This
one had a lot.
one was rated R. The
Yes.
2017 one was PG-13. But this one, I still don't feel like it deserved an R rating. It was the most. I
They
don't
said
know
the
why.
F
It
word
was,
3 times.
yeah, like screw the world, Cyborg. Oh, he's edgy and cool now,
Yeah.
and they could cut people in half, but they barely showed
Black
blood.
Label.
Like they did not use the full force of the R rating, which I think was wise.
Yeah.
But it was still a weird transition for me.
Yeah.
It was like a peppered. Oh, he said the F word. Like
Yeah,
more
just
than
some
once.
random thug in the background. Like,
There was definitely quite a bit of blood, I noticed, which I thought was kind of
Yeah.
fun.
yeah. I think that the action
There's
was
blood
great
in
in
the
this
water.
movie. I think in the original it was stunted by the fact that it was PG-13 and by the fact that it had to be Joss Whedonified and had all these reshoots. The action was really stunted by that. I thought the action in this was great for the most part.
I do
I
agree.
felt like I got a little tired of it, honestly.
Yeah. What were all the various action sequences? The Superman
Wonder Woman intro.
Wonder Woman intro was
every
fun.
Every superhero had their own action scene, plus
I think-
like team fights.
when you
Sort
look
of.
at
They had
the
an intro. They didn't all have an action scene individually.
when you look at what they needed, because they were introducing essentially 3 new characters at this point, potentially 4, and everybody kind of needed their scene if they were going to shoehorn them into this story.
Yeah.
And I think the Wonder Woman scene is one of my favorites.
It was really good.
I think Gal Gadot is incredibly physical in her role. I don't think she's the best actress.
No, never has been.
I am the daughter of Themyscira.
Yeah.
I can't even do her accent because I'm not a good actress, but I don't think anybody can really do her accent.
Yeah, except for her.
Shout out to all the Amazons who are like, what do I do?
Yeah, they're all just using their own accent. There's no unifying thing, really.
Also, shout out to Robin Wright for being in that initial battle.
Yeah, very good.
Very good.
Very good. The fight with the Amazons, very, very good. Wait, let's talk about the Wonder Woman fight again real quick. Because I really, really liked it. Like, we get to see her going full power, and I think that's really fun. Like, blocking all of the individual bullets that he's shooting as they go. Like, I think it's
And
really
moving
cool.
really fast, where she's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
zooming around the room. Yeah.
Which is why I think it's a really good thing. They really build up these characters as really powerful people before they end up having to fight Steppenwolf. So then
Yeah, that's
Steppenwolf
true.
feels like much more of a threat because we see how powerful they are. And now we see that they can't match up to him.
yeah.
Even the action scenes with Steppenwolf, I will chalk this up to his character design and just storyline being better this time.
Yeah.
He was a much bigger and grayer villain in the past version. He had a little
Yeah.
more color. He was spikier. His helmet kind of molded to his face
Well,
more.
he definitely wasn't spikier in the last one.
No, I'm saying he was spikier in this
Okay,
one.
yes.
Like he is spikier. He is a better written villain. Not great,
No,
but he's
I
better
think that
written.
his motivations are really, really simple.
It's a classic
but they
redemption
work
arc.
really well. Like he's trying to get the approval of Daddy, you know?
And
Aren't we
like
all?
the ability to come home, right? Because he's like exiled.
Yeah, because is he Darkseid's nephew?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
He betrayed the family. Whatever.
Yeah, he's
He betrayed
Fredo.
the family.
This is Fredo trying to get his place back, except not.
Now that's a
Bring me
movie I'd see.
50,000 more worlds, and you can come back to the family.
I won the anti-life equation. No?
Darkseid and Fredo are in Cuba watching a snake show, and Darkseid kisses him on the mouth and says, "I know what you did. I know what you did." And
You
then-
said you found the mother boxes twice and had the same dialogue twice in 2 different scenes.
yeah.
You idiot.
Yeah, why does he keep going back to Desaad to just have the same FaceTime call over and over again?
I don't know. I found it, but they're still looking. I'm going to
Okay.
call you. They found it, but they're still looking.
Okay,
Yep, and that's it.
Darkseid will be pleased. Get 50,000 more planets, please. Thank you.
Do you guys feel like they tried to put too much into the 4 hours, or did it flow well, or how did you feel about storytelling?
I want to watch it again because when I started watching it the first time, it was 12 in the morning, and I got about an hour in before I had to go to sleep, just because I was tired. And then I got up the next morning to finish it, and I got up until like the last hour, and I had to take a nap again because I was so tired. So I watched it in chunks, and I think it flowed really well, and it wasn't the movie being boring that made me tired. I was just really tired because I'm a sleepy boy. But I think that it does flow really well. I think that it keeps your attention pretty well. There's definitely a lot of exposition in the first act. The first act, I think you could cut a good chunk out in various scenes and shorten it quite a bit.
There's a very good 3.5 hour movie in this 4 hour movie.
I think if you tightened it up a little bit, it would be significantly improved.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's already really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, but once I got to that hour 45 mark, then I started getting more engaged.
Yeah, when the superheroes actually start superheroing and being the main characters.
Age of Heroes is again.
Yeah. Oh man. What else? We talked about action. I loved the fight with the Amazons. I thought that was really good. It was way better in this one than it was in the original. What other fight scenes are there? I feel like Batman has not been served well in any of the action in this universe except the warehouse fight.
He did do much better in the final battle fighting the parademons than the original cut. Instead of him complaining, I'm so old and I'm just a human.
Dang my back.
He does much better in the fight, just taking out the guns and the parademons.
Yeah. I feel like he himself just looks visually stiff, which is weird because I don't get that vibe in Batman versus Superman. It's like whatever upgrades they did to the suit in real life made it less mobile for Affleck because he didn't look like... He looked extremely uncomfortable in it. He looked like he was stuck in a T-pose the entire time.
What was with his weird sunglasses
I
things?
don't want to talk about the bad goggles. I don't want to talk about the goggles that just made him look like Night Owl.
That's what I thought.
Yes. And that one, it's basically it's the same costume from the original cut, just not as... It's a little bit better because it's the actual original costume and it's not from reshoots like it is in the original one. But it's very bad. It's very bad. Take off those goggles and that's a really good suit. That's what I have to say about that. The cowl in this one is worse than in Batman versus Superman. It cups his chin area really well in Batman versus Superman, and in this one, it makes him look pudgy.
Maybe he gained weight. Maybe it was the same one.
Maybe that means I can be Batman someday.
Maybe it could be Batman.
Pudgy Batman.
Yeah,
Do
that's
I
what they call me.
Here? I don't.
Pudgy man.
I am the Knight.
I am Pudge. I'm Pudge Batman.
Fear me.
Fear me.
Nap on you.
I thought the final fight was really good.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say, before we get to the final fight, the fight in the caves or the sewer line
way better.
Under Gotham Harbor was better. I still think that is my least favorite part.
Yeah, it's just kind of not... It doesn't feel super necessary. Like, what do they get out of that? What happens in that scene? What do they learn?
It's supposed to show that they're not working...
They come together, right?
But it's supposed to show that they're not working together as a team. And honestly, they haven't even talked about how they would work together. They just kind of jump in and do it. And then they kind of escape. They just crawl up the wall on the Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
But nothing really comes of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Except Aquaman kind of joining the team.
Yeah, that's true. Which in the original, he was there the whole time, wasn't he?
No, he still comes through the waterways. Okay. He was still just waiting outside, waiting for that spot to be blown up.
You're right. Yeah, he's just like, is it my turn yet? Do I come in yet?
All right.
All right. I love that he just said, all right, and not my man.
My man.
There was no ride's not over yet. My man. I love that didn't happen.
No, he did say my man.
Did he?
He said my man. He didn't say, all right.
Ah, okay.
And there was no booyah.
Which is stupid. That's literally the character's thing.
So Cyborg, his catchphrase is booyah. And if they had done that during the flashback scene of him being like a football player and like he scores, he could have just said like booyah.
That fits.
And then just nothing. No payoff. No build up, no payoff.
You could have done that and
you
it
wanted
would be
the
fine.
fan service.
I wanted the Teen Titans little person inside me to go,
Yeah, listen. If they can make a Luke Cage series that's all cool and grounded and gritty, and he still says "Sweet Christmas," They can do that in this movie, okay? That's what I have to say about that.
I don't want to talk about Luke Cage
Hot takes.
because that means Iron Fist is on the cuff, and I don't want to talk about
We're not
that
going
either.
to talk about Luke Cage because that's not what this show's about.
Okay, so the final battle scene. Ben,
Final battle
your thoughts?
scene. Tell me about your final battle scene, boy.
I don't have. You guys have so many more thoughts than me, and I
Thoughts and
I don't
notions,
know.
baby.
I don't know, guys. Here's the thing: is I don't know how burned out I am from like superheroes beating big bad guy. I don't know. It's like it's not Marvel's fault. It's not DC's fault. It's just maybe it's Marvel's fault. I don't know. It's just I'm pretty tired of the plot line of big bad guy that no one can beat, and then when we all do the right thing, we beat him. I don't know. So I felt less. Maybe I'm just less of a. Maybe.
I think
less
the
of
places
into the
where
comic
the
book world as you guys keep you talk now.
yeah, I think the places where the final battle falls down is that
Goes down.
Whoa, toxic. Good. I think the thing about the final battle and a lot of this movie, the stuff that doesn't work for me, is that so much of it is shot in a green box. And that's just very Zack Snyder, but way more so in this one than the previous two. Like, they actually did a whole thing, like, in a small town for the Smallville fight in Man of Steel. They did all kinds of in-person, on-set stuff for the Batman versus Superman fight in Batman versus Superman. So much of this movie is a green box, and the entire final battle is, and it really looks off to me. Like, so much of it doesn't look like it's anywhere. Like, it very clearly seems like they're on a green screen.
I felt that,
and I think that the color
Amazonian
grading
fight
and the visual effects kind of hide that a little bit.
Well, when it's all about these three mother boxes, one was red, one was blue, one was yellow, you got to get that green box in there. I think that's pertinent. I'm just kidding.
I got so confused.
No, I do agree that some of the CGI scenes were not as high quality as they could have been.
Yeah.
But there were some downright beautiful scenes.
Oh, yeah. Dude, say what you will about this movie. I thought it was beautiful visually. I thought that this was I think this is Zack Snyder's best movie, which isn't really saying much.
300?
300 is exactly what 300 is supposed to be.
And I love it.
But I think that this is his best movie. I think it's also his best looking movie, despite the aspect ratio. How did you guys feel about the aspect ratio?
And the aspect
That it's a little
ratio. I thought it was
taller?
fun. I don't know.
You make me so mad.
Me?
Yes. It was a little taller.
It was a little taller. And, when they film the IMAX cameras, they want to release the film in IMAX.
Yeah.
So it's not that the ratio is lacking something. It's that everything is finally included.
Yeah, but it's also such a weird thing to say we're going to shoot this movie in this specific way
Jabba the Hutt over
that
here.
no TV that anyone has actually has the format of. And this is the ultimate version. This is the way that you're supposed to watch it, is a way that is not the standard format. That
So
doesn't
then when
look
it
right
comes out
on a regular
IMAX,
TV.
Is it out? Is it playing in IMAX anywhere? We should go track it down.
I don't know. I don't know if it's in theaters anywhere in the United States.
I don't know if I could watch 4 hours in an IMAX of anything.
I don't think I could. I went
Unless
to
it was
the
Fresh Prince of
Marcus
Bel-Air
Theaters.
recon.
Burn Civil War. I could do it.
Nope. I went to the Marcus Theaters Best Picture Film Fest last year,
The picture show.
and I was in the theater all day, 2 Saturdays in a row, and I did it, but it was tough. And the movies that I'd already seen, I definitely went and took bathroom breaks and ate food and didn't pay attention. Like, I left the theater a couple times during 1917.
Oh, I love
I'd
that
seen it
movie,
twice
but
already.
Yeah.
I love 1917.
I do have one thing that I just remembered that I wanted
Yes.
to talk about.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
in that bank scene with Wonder Woman,
Yes.
after she saves the day by blowing the dude basically up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Um,
incinerated him.
Yeah.
She has
So
the same move the entire movie.
yes, I don't know what it does, but let me finish
I
my
don't get
thought
it
here.
either. Go ahead.
So at that point, a little girl doesn't stand up and she says, "Can I want to be like you someday?" And I can actually see on Diana's face, Barbara in Wonder Woman 1984 said the same thing to her. She wished to be just like Diana, and that brought her nothing but ruin. And she said, "No, you can be whatever you want to be. I thought that was a nice little thing. That's showing that she actually learned from her past mistakes.
Interesting. Even though there's no way that they had that planned out ahead of time.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But if they did, bravo.
Yeah, good job. You did a good thing based on a bad movie.
You done did it.
Oh, also, I didn't. Is this a part of her character in the comic book world that she is like not a paleontologist but a museum curator thing?
It depends.
She's everything you need her to be.
Basically,
Oh,
it kind of depends depending on the version of the
I just
character.
thought it was interesting
Sometimes
that she was at the Louvre.
yeah, sometimes she's usually some kind of high society something. Whether it's just like a little bit of a socialite or like the paleontology thing or the art critic thing, something like that. But a lot of times Wonder Woman also doesn't necessarily have an alter ego unless she needs to go do something, in which case she is Diana Prince. But it depends on the version. It's changed quite a bit over the different incarnations in the comics.
Gotcha.
So
what were you saying though? Oh, okay. That was the one thing you had to talk about. Then we talked about aspect ratio. I thought the aspect ratio was fine. I liked the color grading a lot, honestly.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of fun. It feels a little bit like it makes me feel like it's a different universe. No, what's the word that I'm looking for?
Snyderverse.
Snyderverse.
Spider-Verse?
A different Snyderverse.
Yeah.
Superman into
Where
the
we're
Snyderverse.
going, we don't need
what's
color.
what's it called in DC where it's like the different versions of Earth?
The multiverse.
Multiverse, yeah, I guess. So I don't know. I feel like the color grading makes me feel like I'm watching, and maybe the aspect ratio adds to that too, where it feels like I'm looking at
Interesting.
a different universe.
I think that the color grading in this is a finally well distilled version of what Zack Snyder likes to do, of sucking all the color out and everything. Because in Man of Steel, there's way too much. Like the gamma levels are too high. Like the highlights are way too bright.
You know what happens when the gamma levels are too high?
You
Hulk.
turn into the Hulk, yeah.
Oh! You grab a hot dog and then you're angry and you give it to a dog, and then your future wife is not in a car crash. But Man of Steel, the white values are way too bright. They're too blown out. And then in Batman vs Superman, he pulls all of the color down, and it's very visually dark, and the saturation is just super, super gone. And then in this one, the saturation is just at the right angle. It's just at the right little turn of the dial.
Just a smidge.
And there's a good amount of contrast as well. Like the highlights are there, the lowlights are there, and the contrast works really well visually. And I think that visually this is a very good-looking movie because of that. Like it is a feast for the eyes. Like you said, there are some wonky CGI things, and you can tell that those are the ones that were tacked on later. Because they did have to finish like all of the CGI for this since it, got greenlit. And there's some of it that obviously was left to last. That being the additional footage they shot, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
But I think overall, like the CGI, we'll talk visual effects. The visual effects were really good overall. When Flash time travels. Which it's not entirely clear to the audience, I don't think, that he is time traveling necessarily. I understood what was supposed to be happening because I understand that Flash can time travel.
His progression of power in the movie doesn't really make sense to me, but yes, I did love that scene.
Yeah.
So when he's charging up all his energy, running around in a giant circle to push Cyborg into the singularity of the mother boxes, and then they fail. Darkseid's on his way.
Yeah.
Boom. But then Barry's still alive, and he runs, 300 feet?
Yeah.
And he says, you gotta break the limits. Test my limits and break through. He went up
There is
full
no
Elsa
future, there is no past, everything is now.
Into the unknown.
Into the unknown!
Into
To the unknown! Sorry for your ear biscuits right there.
Wow.
But yeah, very, very visually pleasing scene.
Yeah, I thought Barry was used a lot better in this one, just as a character.
Yeah,
Like,
he was at
forget
full
his character
10%
arc
instead
and
of
everything.
2%.
Yeah. Oh, man. It
Yeah,
very
he was
good.
like milk.
We talked about script. We talked about cinematography. We talked about visual effects, performances. I thought that everyone in this movie was pretty good and did exactly what they needed to do for the amount of time they were on screen and then got out.
Amy
Willem
Adams.
Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe.
Yeah. Willem Dafoe is so useless and pointless and annoying in the original, and it's kind of an interesting inclusion in this. It works.
What about Amber Heard?
Mira with a weird English accent that she doesn't have in the original.
I'm gonna take this trident and I'm gonna kill him.
Dude, my gosh, speaking of over-the-top violence, when she freaking blood bends him and like pulls all the liquid out of Steppenwolf's body.
And he's totally fine.
Yeah, I was like, whoa! My
It's like, she's straight up Katara right now.
Yeah. I was like, whoa, where did that come from? Because that level of violence hasn't been there up to the point that that's just a boom, like it jumps.
But that is world building I do love.
Yeah.
And like when all the heroes kind of had those combo power up moves.
Yeah, it's fun.
I enjoyed it. Like when Cyborg shot the trident blast of Aquaman.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, boy.
All
This is
right.
what I want.
My man.
This is Iron Man shooting off Captain America's shield. This is what I
Booyah.
freaking want.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
My man.
My man. Booyah. I imagine there's a toy out there that you press the button, it has different catchphrases. It just goes through, all right, my man, booyah. It's like, he doesn't say booyah.
Cowabunga.
He does now. Booyah.
There's a snake in my boot.
There's a snake in my boot. That's amazing.
Where are we at in the conversation right now?
I don't know, man. Let's talk.
There's just so much. There's so much in this movie to talk about. There's just a lot going.
There is. So they added a couple things onto the end of this. There's the one thing that they did additional shooting for was the nightmare sequence. And that and Batman and Martian Manhunter. But the nightmare sequence was all I'm pretty sure it was all shot after the fact. Like they got those people to come back and shoot that. And
They brought back Joe
Manganiello, yeah.
Manganiello,
And
that guy.
it is bad and pointless and
Got a skunk haircut.
uncomfortable. Like it
It was
visually
like
looks
it was
terrible.
Like 0.5 seconds. You guys are nitpicking 0.5 seconds.
But that's the
point.
thing.
This is
why is
mostly
it there?
nitpicking.
What's the point?
Just kidding.
If it's gonna be there, make it be something. It's just there and there's no point to it. They show up, it looks
Expand
terrible.
the universe.
Joker lens flares out the wazoo. I can't even look at his face.
Well, because he was shot on a totally different day.
He's
Like,
not
it's
gonna
just
be
him
in Suicide
not
Squad, is
actually
he?
there.
The next one.
No.
That's what I thought.
Please no. There's a lot of like praise and love for the little Batman Joker scene there. And to me, that whole ending part felt like a weird bad fan fiction.
Yeah.
Like it was so weird. The visual effects were terrible because they just smacked them onto a blurry green screen because they didn't want to make a full background. They put a couple broken down cars in the foreground and just like it's just bad. The dialogue is horrifically stunted. They're like name dropping people. Like Batman says Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
The full name, Harley Quinn. When I was holding Harley Quinn and she died, she made me promise to kill you. It's like, why wouldn't you? It was weird to me that he said the whole name. And I know that's very nitpicky, but it just like that specifically took me further out of it than I possibly already was somehow. I felt like it was a really good put together movie that I enjoyed, had a good time with. And then these final two tacked on parts in the epilogue just kind of sullied that and soured the ending of it. Like it was like I had a delicious steak, and at the end of it, so I was forced to take a drink of really old sour milk.
Cheese.
Yeah, it's like that was a delicious
Milk
steak.
cheese?
Ah!
You don't like cheese?
What?
Never mind. Anyway,
Sour milk.
Cheese is different.
I'm different.
So, I feel like I saw an article I'm trying to find where Zack Snyder was talking about why he had that scene. Was there a reason he said he wanted that weird dystopian future
wants
thing
to put
happening?
Joker and Batman on screen because we never had them on screen together in a real
Is
scene.
that all it was?
That's part of it.
I've read a lot of different articles where Zack Snyder says, if I had my way, this is how I would have done it anyway.
Yeah.
Like, in one article, he talks about how he would have loved to make Bruce Wayne and Lois Lane have an affair type deal when Superman's dead.
Yeah, Superman's dead. They have a child. And
You
then
got
that's
why
why
when just kidding. Sorry, I'm thinking of Wonder Woman. Never mind. Keep going. Carry on.
And then that's why Superman turns sort of evil, is like, she was everything to me. That was the original context, and then they changed that again.
And then
and
a
now
straight
he's-
up dead corpse in the nightmare vision.
Yeah, but now he's talked about like, oh, well, now actually what would have happened is that Bruce would die in the second or third or whatever Justice League movie, and then Lois and Superman's son would be named Bruce Kent, and he would become the next Batman. It's like, what are you talking about, Zack Snyder? You're just making crap up because you know they're never going to let you make these movies.
Yeah.
And praise God for that, because they're going to be bad.
Honestly, just let Henry Cavill make the movies.
All I want is Henry Cavill again.
Best Superman.
I don't know about best Superman, but I really love him.
Fair enough.
I really like Henry Cavill, and I think he could be a really good Superman in the right movie. I think that this was the first step towards that, but it's never going to happen, and he's probably going to get recast. And that's unfortunate. Did you notice that in the final fight, the CGI model of him had a perfectly skin-tight Superman suit that went around his pecs? That really, really bothered me, because when you look at him normally, it's just a flat thing. It's a suit. But when it has this weird contour, the S like goes in, with his pectoral muscles. And it looks very wrong.
He's gaunt. He's just been dead. Come on.
Oh, good point. But then when you see him actually clearly on set for real, it looks normal. So, I don't know. I think it was a good movie with a really stupid, bad epilogue.
So you would say cut it before the epilogue.
Yes, I would completely cut out the nightmare sequence and Martian Manhunter completely.
Martha Manhunter.
I would just make that a scene with Martha, because I think if that's just Martha, that's a pretty good scene.
Hey,
But also, I think that it's kind of pointless, because Lois isn't really a part of this movie that is really anything except just to show up and
Bring coffee.
Yeah, and make Superman. Yeah, bring coffee. Yeah, it's like this is so weird that they went from Man of Steel, where she is the most capable, interesting Lois Lane that there's been on screen, to Batman versus Superman, where she's running around with a little bag of bullets. Like, do you recognize these? Do you know what these are? Have you seen? Is this what a bullet looks like? Like, no one cares, Lois. Obviously, no one cares. Shut up, move on. And now in this one, she's like quit her job at the Daily Planet.
No, she hasn't quit. She's just
not going to work.
Because you can stay.
Okay,
stay on the payroll.
I wouldn't expect you to understand, Marshall.
I absolutely understand depression, and this is a woman who should have been fired from her job long ago. Like, for how long has she been going every single day to the Superman monument to bring coffee to, I guess, the same police officer that is stationed there every single day?
She brought Joe to Joe.
It's so
he
strange.
almost dies. Remember that? Anyway,
You should probably
move.
yeah.
It made it in.
It made it.
It made it in.
I think it fits better there.
It's so good.
Now that we're on the topic of, depression and other mental things that can really inhibit. So
Right.
Zack Snyder did have to take time away
Yeah.
after
hey,
because
good
his
segue.
daughter, his 17-year-old daughter Autumn, committed suicide. And when Batman goes to pick up Barry Allen and he pulls away in his billion-dollar car, there is a billboard they added saying, "You are not alone." And it was a really good way of them saying, hey, there is a way that you can get help. And dedicating the movie to Autumn, I think...
Yeah, that was really nice. When I saw the For Autumn at the end, I was like, oh.
Yeah, there's...
Yeah.
I mean, completely understandable that he had to step away during post-production for this. No parent should have to outlive their child.
Yeah.
Get help if you need it. You aren't alone.
The color grading on that billboard was weird, though. I will say.
Snap back to reality.
Oh, there goes the billboard.
Connor had a nice moment for the listeners out there, and you're right. You can still
Leave
critique
it to
the
Bag of
movie.
Bullets.
It's old Bag of Bullets Bill.
Brand.
That's what they call me. Bag of Bullets brand. There's old Bullet Bag.
Also, that is nice. I'm curious. I haven't really listened to many interviews, but I feel like it's a cool thing for somebody to be able to be bold enough to step out of, step away from something as big as like a blockbuster movie to say like, I can't do this right now. Like, that's pretty serious. Like, some good boundaries there as a human being. Go Zack Snyder. Hey, do you know if that was? Have you guys heard any interviews with him where he talks about that at all?
I don't know. I think that he originally wanted to like push through it and dedicate the movie to her in the first place, but then it just became too much, and that's when him and Deborah, his wife, who is the producer on like all of these things. I think she is like the executive producer on this movie.
As well
Power
as
couple.
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, Nolan is all in on this stuff. They were coming up with Man of Steel when they were shooting Dark Knight Rises. Like that was their whole thing. It was like, let's make a gritty, realistic Superman.
Did you know that they styled Alfred's style after what Zack Snyder normally wears?
I can see that, except it looks better on Jeremy Irons than it does on
anything
weird
does.
12-year-old boy Zack Snyder.
Spiky hair Snyder.
Yeah.
You back off.
Jeremy Irons as Alfred is so good. I think the best stuff in this movie might be any interaction between Alfred and anyone.
He's got a little crush on Diana.
So does Bruce. Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't?
Well, they took out the scene where Aquaman's not like sitting on the lasso of truth and going, "Wow, you're gorgeous. Oh man,
It's so weird.
I think you're great."
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't worry
that's
about it,
good.
Ben. Don't worry about it.
Wow, jeez.
We do still get a hint of the Bruce Diana romance though when they like accidentally touch hands on the mouse, and I love that. Growing up
Also
on
when-
the Justice League animated series, when they kind of tease that relationship every once in a while. Like I think that's my favorite Batman romance. I never understood Batman and Catwoman. I don't like it. I think that Batman and
Cat. It just makes sense.
oh geez, if you're Tom King, that's half of a
B's and
comic book
C's.
right there.
Your B's
Amen.
and your C's.
Oh my
I'm talking
gosh.
about.
But I think that is great. I love Wonder Woman and Batman together. I hate when Wonder Woman and Superman get paired together. It always seems really weird to me. It's like it just feels wrong, and that was what the whole New 52 did for most of it. But whatever. Who cares? I guess. What other are we missing any categories? Where are we at, man?
We crossed our eyes and dotted the T's. Then we covered the first and second and third base, and then we
Nice.
made sure that we checked we didn't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Nice.
And then we counted
We cooked
one bird
before
in
getting off
hand
the stove.
and 3 in the bush. Sorry, say it again.
We cooked before we got off the stove.
Yep.
And then we made our bed and we laid in
I
it.
think that's every part of the movie. I think we're good.
We talked about the entire movie.
Oh gosh, that's people don't need to watch the movie.
I
want to
know, Ben, were your expectations met?
Yeah, if you go back and listen to the end of the last episode, I was talking about some things I was hoping for in this movie, having not seen it. I think one of the things was I wanted to be able to feel like I could watch this movie without needing to know more about all of the characters or like to feel like these are just the jump starts for me to go and watch Aquaman and more Wonder Woman and The Flash and all the other things. Like I wanted it to be like self-contained enough as a story to hold my interest and not just tease little things to I should go and watch that and pay more money to watch that and read this. And so
Yeah.
I think that was for the most part true. I think everything that happened to each of the sub characters felt self-contained enough in the plot, which I think was good.
Yeah.
Any other expectations? I thought it was a good superhero movie. Yeah, I guess just like that's what happens with 4 hours is they put a lot of time into it, and it felt like for the most part everything felt contained and wrapped up, and yeah, I think it is out of all of the Snyder stuff, out of all 3 movies, I think it is. If you were to be a douche and try to compare Marvel and DC, I think it is like if you were to put forward a product of like what the DC universe or whatever the heck it's called could be, I think it's definitely the best example of like this is what these superheroes could be if it was all clicking. Like I think I watched it and I'm like, yeah, that was sweet how they all were together, and yeah, I don't know. I'll stop talking again.
They're not superheroes anymore. They are literally gods.
Which is that's the angle that Snyder's always wanted to take on this, is that like DC definitely has more like mythic characters than Marvel does. Marvel's characters are mostly just like
Human.
They're mostly like regular people
Or peak human fitness.
Yeah, exactly. Like you have Iron Man, who's just a guy in a suit of armor. But there's also just like even the superheroes are people that have like some powers. They're not like Superman, who is like this crazy powerful guy, or Wonder Woman, who is like literally a daughter of Zeus. You know, like all of this kind of stuff. The DC characters have always been more akin to gods than men, as opposed to the Marvel characters. So I would agree with that. Connor, were your expectations met? Do you remember what you were wanting when I asked that last episode?
You know, fair enough. I do not remember exactly what I said. My expectations, I would guess, were pretty low. I was going to walk in hoping for the worst and be satisfied with what I got. But I was honestly very pleased with what I got. I rolled my eyes at some scenes that made me reminisce on the old movie, but the new scenes really made me forget what I was watching. And that, to me, is good. When I can forget that I'm kind of watching a movie and I'm just sitting in pure enjoyment, then I'm all in.
Yeah. I really want to watch it again. Because I literally, like, I wasn't sure I was going to buy the upgraded TV with the rest of my stim check. And then the Snyder Cut. And I was like, if I'm going to watch a movie at 4:3, I want to watch it on the biggest screen possible.
How much did you spend on the new TV?
Don't worry about it. We don't have to talk about it.
Not the whole stimulus check.
No,
okay.
I bought, that was the other half of the stimulus check, that printer over there.
It was like $20.
$20 printer. Yep. No, that printer was about $500.
Oh my lands.
Yeah.
Why? Oh, because of your comic art. That makes sense.
Yeah, because it's a fine art quality printer.
I'm a fine art quality man.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, amen.
Wink, wink.
You've
love
upgraded from
yourself.
comic book man.
Yes,
How
well,
self-confident you are.
They spent more time on my
Pudge
backstory.
Man.
Pudge Man.
Pudge Man.
Where is she?
I'm Pudge Man.
Where's the closest McDonald's?
My expectation, I think what I said last week, all I wanted out of this movie was more Superman and was better Superman. And I think that I got that up until the point that he was like lasering off parts of Steppenwolf's body. Like that just felt like too much to me. Like the level of violence from every other character made sense and I thought was good. I enjoyed how violent Steppenwolf was, how violent the Amazons were and everything. But like Superman and Wonder Woman, like the main superheroes, it felt weird and out of place to me that they would be as violent and intense as the villains themselves. It just, I don't know. It was off-putting to me.
Yeah.
That's what I had to say about that.
Respect. So, Connor, yes or no?
Yes.
I would say yes.
I would say yes, but do it over like 2 nights.
I think you can find the time to do it all in one.
Yeah,
It's
but
just- it's
I
a long
hardly
journey,
did,
but it's
so
worth Yeah, but you're you.
It's like ordering a
that's
pizza.
good point.
You know? I
Yeah.
could do it all in one sitting, but it's better over 2 days.
Cool. And that's our thoughts on the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
Ben, have you watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
I haven't yet. No.
Frick, I wanted
Sorry.
to talk about it quick.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
next episode, I guess.
Are you gonna watch it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you will.
Challenge accepted.
All right, then you have to watch the next episode too, because it's gonna have come out by the time we do the next episode.
Okay. I will. I'll text
Will
you a
you?
picture of me watching it. Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Was it good?
I liked
Cool.
it a lot. I was gonna do a whole bit where I put on my Marvel hat, and I was Kevin Feige, and I was literally putting on my Marvel cap. Look,
And I'm
watch this.
Amy Pascal. I'm the Sony lady who controls Spider-Man.
Guys, Marshall's doing the bit. Watch out.
Uh-oh.
Hey, who's that man?
Now I put on my Marvel hat, and I'm ready to talk about Marvel comics.
You have to save the hat till next week, Marshall.
Wait,
Sorry.
We have to take a picture of this for the Instagram.
Oh.
You guys aren't in that picture.
Oh.
Oh.
Then why did I make a face?
Yeah.
It's just me.
Aren't we always in pictures? Aren't we always being
Always-
recorded?
Yeah. We're
Birds
all,
aren't real.
Hold on, let me take a better picture of all of us together for the last time.
Come
for the
together.
last time.
Last time. Oh, are you killing me?
Just scoot in.
I can't. The headphones.
Scoot in. Take them off. We did it.
We
took a photo together.
No hicimos. We did it.
To even think that people are still listening to the episode this long in.
Shut
It's
up.
almost-
Shout out to Eric Kuehl.
We're 1/4 of the show.
He told me.
Hey, Eric.
Did he talk to you? He told me
talked to
that.
me.
Yes, he told me that he was listening to the episode and he was super happy with it and he was enjoying it and he was about to text you, Connor, and be like, "I listened to the episode."
Oh, he did.
And then you called him out during the episode, right when he was about to text
Wow.
you, and he was like, "What?"
That's great.
so
also,
crazy.
shout out to Ben Miller because he is
Ben
my
Miller.
favorite.
Ben Miller.
Yeah, hey.
He listens.
Whoever else listens to the show, thanks for listening.
You stink.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for listening. This has been our thoughts on the Snyder Cut with Marshall and Ben and Comic Book Man, verified Comic Book Man. He's got the blue tick on Twitter for being Comic Book Man, and that's Connor Brandt. Connor Brandt, the Comic Book Man, the
Yep.
Pudge.
Follow me on Etsy. Bag of Bullets brand.
Bag of Bullets brand. There's a little
You'll
bullet
receive
brand.
a bag of bullets.
I don't
Who
think you can
who
ship
made
that.
them? Don't know. Hard to tell. They don't have a label. But they sure have fingerprints. If you want to get in contact with the show, you can email us at benandmarshallpod@gmail.com. You can get in contact with me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, all of those at mparish_art. Ben is not really on social media.
Nope, it's good for me.
Yep. I would agree. I wish I could. I could. But I
I'm
do
glad
this.
you're committed to it. I really am. I do admire that about you. You're
Yeah.
very consistent, and it's a good thing for the podcast.
Thanks. And we're also at Ben and Marshall Pod at Gmail. No, at Ben and Marshall Do a Podcast on Instagram. That's where we post little previews of every episode, where we post all kinds of different fun stuff. I'll probably post that picture of me wearing that hat, and you won't understand it until you listen to the episode. And yeah, that's what that is.
Are we gonna change the name of our podcast ever? We'll talk about that. We'll talk.
Ben
about
and
it
Marshall
on
and
the next
Connor
episode.
do a podcast.
Maybe. This is the thing. This is the thing. In the process of having you and having Bryce on the show, I have sort of been backdoor auditioning third co-hosts.
Spicy.
Yeah. It's like you don't even care about me anymore. Like I'm
I
not
said
good enough for you.
third. I think a third person brings good energy. And I think we
Pushing
could
me out.
swap off depending on the episode, but
I think it does bring good energy as well. I had the same thought.
This is basically wife swap now, right?
it's basically wife swap. You're
Oh.
my
Dad
wife,
never let
I'm
me
Ben's
watch that as a
wife,
kid,
and Ben
now
is
I
your
understand
wife.
why.
I
Yeah.
knew it. The trifecta.
We are all sister wives in the end.
To Snyder.
But yeah, I've been thinking about changing the name of the show for a while in general. I just don't know what exactly we would make it. So, if you guys have ideas, tell them to us, I guess. Hey,
Yeah.
what are we going to watch next episode?
Nacho Libre.
Yeah.
Are we going to do Nacho Libre?
Oh.
No, we don't have to. We could just do a Jack Black best of
School of Rock.
Jumanji.
I've not seen Jumanji.
The new one is
Sister
honestly
Act
pretty
2, Back in the Habit,
he
featuring
in that?
Jack Black. No, he is
Tenacious
not.
D.
Okay, I
Tenacious
didn't think
D.
so.
Tenacious D.
Yeah, Pick of
The
Destiny.
Pick of Destiny. Yeah,
Oh, what are we?
Anywho.
I don't know. I don't know if Nacho
We'll
Libre
figure-
is the show.
we'll figure it out.
It's a movie, so.
That's a good point, Connor.
I said that to my face.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't know.
We don't have to know right now. It's fine. We'll figure it out.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. I've been Marshall.
I love you all, and I'm Marshall Ben.
And I've been Connor.
And now, Ben, you do your part.
I've been Ben. I've been
Just your
Con.
adventure
I've
in
marshaled
Iowa
Con.
State.
I've connored Ben. I've been Con. I've connored Ben. I've connored marshaled Ben.